Hello, everybody. Let's go. Yes, that's for you, Justin. That's for you. All right, folks, we're about to start SVVR in just a couple minutes. Grab your last drinks and vittles from the room adjacent and come on and grab a seat. We're going to begin presentation momentarily. Demoers, if you're demoing in the back, we'd love you if you can wind that down and start getting people to the seats. It'd be lovely. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can come on down and find a seat, we'll be starting presentations for SVVR 45 momentarily. There's a few seats up here in the front. If you want to grab them, seat right there, seat over here. Feel free to come on up.
Bruce, we're good. I have a mic, I can talk to you.
Oh my God.
Oh my
You
God.
gonna count me in 3,
1, and
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SVVR number 45. And sweet. So happy to have all of you here today in this pre-OC4 action that we have going on. Raise this up a little bit. Fantastic. I am your humble and happy host, Bruce Wooden, also known as Cymatic Bruce, co-founder SVVR, co-founder Altspace VR, and currently at VR education startup Viative. So that's what I'm doing with my VR life right now. So welcome to the VR studio space. It's fantastic. We are going to get right into presentations because I don't think we have anything to say beforehand. Do we, Carl? No? All right. It's going to, nice. We have lots of presentations, lots of great people in town right now, which is great. So we're going to get started right in the mix. James Blah from Vivid Vision is going to come up. Let's give him a warm welcome here. Yeah. All right, we're going to get him hooked up. As is tradition, as chords get traded, we're going to go ahead and play Ask Bruce a Silly Question. So if you have a question about virtual reality or about India, which I went, or about Busan, which we went, then please ask that question now. Yes. I loved it. I don't know. No one else loved it, but I had I don't know what the conditions are with my demo. I was at Unite Austin, and I did the demo, and I played Space Pirate Trainer, and it was great. And I did a few other demos, and it was great. And there's been a lot of complaints about the tracking, but I did not have those problems. And also the Del one flips up, which I love. So I really liked it. All right, thank you for that question. I think we're ready for James. You ready? All right, let's give a warm round of applause.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Blaha. I'm the founder and CEO of Vivid Vision. So what we actually do is we make vision treatments using VR, AR technology. We started off with binocular vision, so things like lazy eye, crossed eyes, double vision, and we're moving into other areas coming up, but I'll get more into that later in the talk. Yeah, so what we really do is we're actually not so much working out the eye muscles. We're really changing how the brain works. So we're taking advantage of neuroplasticity to change how people's brains use the input coming in through their eyes.
Not getting the slides back
yet. Didn't miss too much so far.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, because it's two screens?
Yeah. They want to probably to get out and
try a button, right? Like this one? Or this one? Oh no, I never use a Chromebook.
yeah, that's it.
Or maybe that one. Mirroring on.
Yay! All right.
Okay, there we go. So the reason I founded the company is because I was born with a lazy eye. So this was me when I was diagnosed. I was about a year old. I had a crossed eye, which is called strabismus, and that caused my lazy eye. So basically when I was born, my eyes weren't lined up. My brain didn't know how to handle that situation. So what it learned to do is ignore my left eye in favor of just focusing on the one clear image in my good eye. And so before I started this company about 4 years ago, I had no depth perception at all. The vision in my weak eye was about 20/70. Today I'm almost 20/20, and I have about 95% normal depth perception. And that's entirely from playing video games in VR. So it's really a perceptual problem. A lot of people think of it as we're exercising the eye muscles. Some of that is going on, but really what we're doing is teaching the brain how to use the two eyes together. All these new VR headsets are really making it easy for us to reach people using this new technology. right now we're supporting the Rift, the Vive, Daydream, Gear VR, and we expect to support most of the new headsets coming out. Most of them are sort of beyond the capability required to do this sort of testing and treatment. So really, as cost is coming down, more people are actually able to access the treatment. So to give you a quick overview of what we do, basically we increase the signal going to their weaker eye in a variety of ways. One of the ways we can do that is by putting some objects only in their strong eye, some objects only in their weak eye, and they have to integrate the two eyes in order to win the games. So in this example, this spaceship is in their stronger eye. The symbols inside these rings, either the blue up arrows or the red down arrows, that's in their weak eye. They have to navigate the ship just through the blue up arrows and avoid the red down arrows. So their weak eye has to read what those symbols are. Their good eye has to keep track of the ship. And they actually have to fuse the two images on the rings in order to navigate the ship through, through the correct rings. And so basically we're providing an incentive for their brain to use the two eyes together correctly. When in the normal world, the brain has every incentive to ignore the weak one, focus on the good one, and that's sort of good enough. There's a number of other things we do. One thing we do is we blur out their stronger eye to match how blurry their weak eye is. And that makes it easier to combine the two images. We also make certain objects brighter in their weak eye. We make certain objects move more in their weak eye. Basically, all these different ways of providing unique, higher signal information to the side of their brain that is less well developed. And then one of the big things we do is that in the headset, if they have a crossed eye and it's pointing 10 degrees out to the side, we can move the image 10 degrees after we measure how big it is. And so inside the headset, it'll become easy for them to combine the images because now it lines up. And over months while they're practicing, we slowly move that image back out to how it is in the real world. And so we sort of ease them in to being able to combine the images over larger distances. So we've been selling our system to optometry and ophthalmology clinics for about almost the last 2 years. Previous treatments are things like patching, eye exercises using balls and strings, and sort of these really boring, really repetitive exercises. But one of the big issues is that even with these exercises, the success rates are really, really low. Children, it's easiest to treat children. They only improve in about 50% of cases, and 20% of them get worse after they stop. So most children in the US, and it's often the diagnosis rates are lower in other countries, don't get treated. So across the world, most people who have this condition never get successfully treated. So we actually recently just published our first study in an ophthalmology journal. We focused on adults first because children are a lot easier to treat. So it used to be believed in ophthalmology, actually people called it the dogma, that after the age of 10, the brain was not plastic enough to improve these conditions. So that's why we went directly to treating adults, proving that the brain is plastic enough, but you have to do all these weird tricks, like showing some things in some eye, increasing signal. These are all things that never happen in the real world. So my reinterpretation of what's actually going on, they used to believe brain's plastic until 10, you can fix these things. I think what's actually true is by about the age of 9 or 10, the brain has learned how to deal with all of the normal range of visual stimulus. We're presenting the brain with things it's never seen before, abnormal stimulus, stuff that it doesn't yet have a rule for. And so we're able to teach the brain new stuff because it doesn't have a set rule for the input that's coming into the eyes. So this is the data from that study. So basically these darker bars are the patients before they had any treatment. So on this first one, 47%, almost half of the patients had unmeasurable stereo acuity. So stereo acuity is your level of depth perception. It's your ability to see in 3D. After training, only about 11% had unmeasurable stereo acuity. So we took, basically 30% of the people, when they walked into the study, they could not see in 3D at all. And those people, or sorry, almost half couldn't see in 3D at all. And then a third of most of those people who couldn't see in 3D were now able to see some 3D. Basically, these dark bars shifting towards better depth perception means that we saw an improvement across the whole range of depth perception when people came in. And again, these are all adults. And so these results were very, very surprising to ophthalmologists who learned in school that once you're older than 10, there's nothing you can do about this. So since then, we've got our system into now a bit more than 100 clinics. We're in more than 13 countries. We've had more than 13,000 patients who are signed up who want to use Vivid Vision somehow. And so we've been in this mode where we've been trying to increase the coverage of clinics so that more people can travel into these clinics and get the treatment. We've treated more than 6,000 patients already in these clinics. And so, you know, these are people, some of these people couldn't drive before having our treatment. A lot of these people failed to be treated with traditional methods for years. And we've been able to help, you know, these people who were all told when they were 10 that there was nothing they could do about this. So this affects quite a lot of people. It's actually about 10% of the population has one of the 3 conditions that we treat. So that's crossed eyes, lazy eye, and an issue called convergence insufficiency, where basically people see double close up and they get eye strain on objects that are closer to them. Right now, there's only about 1,100 clinics who specialize in vision therapy in the US. This is mostly because they don't treat adults, so they're not set up to treat the 30 million people who have these conditions. They're set up to treat the 250,000 kids a year who have these conditions. So most people go untreated, but if you weren't successfully treated as a kid, it used to be extremely unlikely that anything would improve, that your vision would get better. And when you do go into one of these vision therapy clinics, it costs about $9,000, and most of that's not covered by insurance. So this is where Vivid Vision Home comes in. We're actually releasing this at an optometry conference tomorrow in Chicago. So we're finally allowing doctors to prescribe our treatment for home use. And so to sort of go back to the cost of this, one of our primary goals is to treat all of these people who didn't have access to treatment. Really the only way to do that, since most of it's not covered by insurance, is to reduce the cost. And so right now, if you go into a clinic, you typically go in 7 times a month. You're gonna pay between $100 to $200 per visit. And only a little more than 1,000 of that is covered by insurance. So this dotted line is the amount covered by insurance. Starting tomorrow with home prescriptions, instead of going in 7 or 8 times a month, instead you'll go in once a month and do all the rest of the treatment at home. And the doctor will check in with you once a month, do some tests in the clinic, update your treatment plan, you know, view your data coming back. And overall, we think we're gonna get the price down to about $3,000 for treatment. So, you know, over the last 2 years, we're looking at a 3 times reduction in the cost to the patient. In the future, we sort of see a scenario where instead of you going into the clinic, once you have the diagnosis, your medical records can be sent to an optometrist or an ophthalmologist online. They can configure your treatment plan, and we think we can get the cost down to maybe about $1,500. And most of that would be covered by insurance. And so, you know, we think the only way to really get all of these tens of millions of people treated is to make it affordable. And so that's sort of what our mission has been and what we're still working on. And hopefully with home, you know, we're going to see a whole bunch of people get treatment who were previously priced out of it. So basically what we do is a patient comes to our website, they sign up on our doctor locator. If there is a doctor near them, we just send them information to contact that doctor. If there isn't a doctor near them, right now we keep their name in a database, and when a doctor signs up who's close enough to them, we notify both the patient and the doctor. And so as with each clinic that comes online, we have a broader reach to do home treatment. Many people are willing to travel 4 hours each way, twice a week, to do this treatment. So we know we have people coming in from France. We had someone come in from Japan to San Jose and stayed for 2 months to do this treatment. So people are, they really want to fix this problem because it has lots of effects in their life. But we're trying to make it easier by sort of increasing that coverage and making sure everyone is close to a doctor who can prescribe it. We have ongoing research collaborations with UCSF, with Berkeley. We're doing something with the City College in London. And a lot of that is on different aspects of what we're currently doing, but a lot of it is on sort of our next steps. Things we're interested in sort of extending the capability of the platform. And so that sort of leads me to the future of where all of this is going. I think we sort of envision everyone's going to have one of these headsets laying around somewhere, right? Like, everyone has a phone. Every phone becomes a headset. The hardware cost problem disappears at some point. And so, we think everyone might play 10 to 20 minutes of VR video games a week, and throughout your life, you'll get a profile of how your vision's changing as a result of that. And so we think we can predict disease better than other ways because we'll get access to a whole bunch more data. And as a result of analyzing that data, we'll be able to figure out the problems in your vision much more quickly than people can today. Your average person goes to see the doctor, the eye doctor, once every 2 to 5 years. So their data points are really poor and really farly spread out. So I think we can get really high volume, high quality data from a whole bunch of people, and we can use that to actually figure out how all this stuff works and make people's vision better. So thanks. If you guys have any questions, be happy to answer them. Yeah. So the question was, how did we come up with how to do the tests? How do we come up with the ideas behind this stuff? Originally, there were sort of two things that spurred me to start working on this. One is I saw the movie Avatar the first day it came out, and they were having all kinds of problems with their cameras. So I didn't see in 3D, but their right eye camera was flashing in and out of blue. And every time it flashed to blue, I would see on the screen the parts my good eye was contributing were blue, and the parts that my weak eye was contributing, which was just some peripheral vision out here, was still the movie. Everyone else was just seeing the movie, and the 3D was glitching. But to me, I saw a map of which parts of my vision each of my eyes contributed. And so that was sort of a moment where I was like, well, if this can happen on accident, I can probably make this. I'm a programmer, so I could probably figure out how to do this on purpose. And I had a pretty bad headache after watching that movie. I didn't see any 3D during it. And at that point, my mindset was, oh, 3D's a gimmick. Nobody even who sees 3D likes 3D. And I wasn't even going to get a Rift. I thought it was sort of stupid, I guess. And then my friend got a Rift, and he said, no, dude, it's not about the 3D. It's about looking any direction, and you're in that world. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I will like it. And I have this idea anyway, so I just sort of was like, well, I'll try that idea out, and maybe I'll like it anyway, so we'll see. And at that point, the Rift was 300, and the kinds of 3D projectors I would have needed at that time were costing about $1,200 or $1,300. So the Rift really brought into my price range the technology that's capable of delivering these separate images. And it turns out there's a whole bunch of other advantages to using VR over 3D projectors too. But I didn't realize any of that till later. At first, it was just me experimenting, and then the experiment, I saw 3D for the first time in one of my first experiments, and that's sort of when I dropped everything else and put up a crowdfunding campaign, and I moved here from Michigan. This was about 3.5 years ago. Yeah, so the question was, can we develop something that lets you switch your eye dominance? If you have otherwise normal vision, everyone has a dominant eye to some extent. Some people it's very minor and the eye dominance is not so big. Some people it's very, very noticeable. I've talked to a number of people who want to change their eye dominance for different reasons. It's definitely possible, and I think it's something we'll do at some point. But we're prioritizing binocular vision and some vision testing stuff first, probably. Because the work of making the thing that changes your eye dominance is not nearly as much as proving that the thing you made changes the eye dominance. And so the time it takes to actually prove that our software does what we say it does is a really big investment. So I think at some point we will do that, but it's probably not going to be right away. So for things like astigmatism or myopia or presbyopia, if there's a physical problem with the eye, we're not going to change that through, exercises, basically, right? We're not going to change that through changing how your brain works. All of our stuff depends on people wearing the correct pair of glasses first. And so the way I look at it is, first you have to do all the physical stuff to deliver to the eye a clear image. And that means getting the right pair of glasses on to correct for your astigmatism. Once it gets from the retina back to the brain, that's sort of where we begin work. And so I think we could take anyone's vision and improve it a certain amount for certain tasks. For example, an athlete has to do really specific stuff with their vision, and we know that through visual training, we can make them better at those things. So I think depending on what you use your vision for, we can make your vision better, but we're never going to make it so you throw away your glasses. That's sort of not where any of this is going, I think.
One more. Are you, and if you are, how are you going about anonymizing the data that you collect?
Yeah, so the question is, how are we going about anonymizing the data we collect? This is something we think about a lot, and of course, we're subject to HIPAA laws, so our system is HIPAA compliant. And for a long time, we were building a system we believed was HIPAA compliant, but we also weren't asking for any identifying information. And so for a long time, we sort of pretended like we had identifying information and that we were protecting it in a HIPAA compliant way. But if there was some problem during this period, which lasted years, we wouldn't have actually leaked any identifying information and there wouldn't have been a problem. So, we took this approach of sort of designing the technology under the assumption that it needs to work up to a certain level, even when it didn't yet. And then by the time we actually did want to store some of that info, patient names, birth dates, stuff like that, we could sort of flip a switch and we're pretty confident we're not going to run into issues. In general, the HIPAA compliance laws are pretty reasonable, and it's a lot easier to do than it used to be because AWS is HIPAA compliant on their end. And so, it used to be a lot more work and a lot more expensive to do it right. And today, it's actually not so bad. You just have to follow the rules and make sure you know what they are.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you have questions for James of VidVision, there's a demo in the back that I'll be starting after presentations are done, so you can continue with that. But we're going to continue with presentations. We've got Frost from Styly. I'll come up and get hooked up. In the meantime, let's continue. Let's ask random questions about things. Let's go. What do you got? India, Korea, virtual reality, Unite Austin. I did all of those things in the past month. Aren't you the least bit curious about any of them? None. No curiosity in this Silicon Valley crowd. It's truly dead. Ho ho! Yes. The story I'm dying to tell right now, of course it's from India. Oh, really? I learned an Indian word called jugaad. Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you. And oh my God. Oh, it's making your way. It's how Indian people drive. Yeah. It's a 2-lane street. There are 4 lanes of cars. And tuk-tuks and motorcycles, and they're everywhere. It's amazing. I just had to sit back and laugh. You can't stress out because then you just have a heart attack. So you just learn jugaad. It's an amazing thing. Oh my God, I'm so scared. All right, let's welcome news from Styly. Give him a warm round of applause.
Thanks a lot. Hello. Yeah, that's great. Anyhow, I was born in Japan, but my parents are from India, so here I go. So today, what I'm going to talk about is not really a technical thing. It's very easy. Just we are focusing on distribution platform because right now, a lot of creators are creating a lot of VR contents, but they don't have any kind of area where they can publish. Yeah, there are areas you can talk about Steam or other Google Play, but it takes couple of months, couple of descriptions, so it's really hard for each of person. Yeah, and if you talk about you are making $1 million out of it, yeah, it makes sense that you are spending that much time. But you are doing for hobby, art, fashion, other than the money monetization, you don't have any kind of place. So we are targeting those people that rather than just throw it in your computer or laptop, you should publish it and share with the people. Yeah. So this is the main concept. So yeah, it's very simple. Whatever you create in the Unity, or Maya, Tiltbrush, any kind of software, you just import it in our product, and with the just one click, it will distribute in our platform, which is compatible with the all 4 major devices. Yeah. So today I'm going to just talk about a little bit about how it works, and after that I'll show you the demo. A small description about me. Yeah, my parents are from India. I was born in Japan. I can speak 6 languages. I'm working in this industry from 7 or 8 years. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's go for next one. Yeah, so what is Styly, feature of Styly, and demo and the QA. Yeah, today I'm going to cover this. So basically our product is web browser, so you don't need to download it. Just go styly.su.com, so you can just easy and play it. And as I mentioned that it's a web browser and you don't need to do any kind of coding. It's drag and drop WordPress, so it's very easy. And it's distribute to the all VR handsets, and it's free to use, so there's no kind of monetization. You don't need to sign up, you don't need to pay anything. Just put your email address, password, and here you go. And yeah, compatible with the 10 formats, so which I'm going to explain you. And one more cool about this product is right now I'm making VR content in my old MacBook Air, which I bought 4 or 5 years back. So you don't need to buy any kind of specific machine for the VR. Just use whatever you have a computer, either in Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Safari. Just use that. And there's tiny part of thing which is our product is compatible with the multiple device adoption, multi-OS support movie, and post processing, which I'm going to tell you when I'm using my an actual software. And yeah, you can also directly import the contents from SoundCloud, YouTube, or music directly from our platform. And yeah, you can search it rather than download in your computer, then import it. And also upload the PDF files in our software. Yeah, 3D models, Maya, Blender, Sketchfab, Tiltbrush, yeah. And also the select the post effect. So normally, if some are over here, Unity users, everyone know that it takes at least couple of hours to do the all kind of post effect. But at our case, it's a drag and drop, and more about WordPress of the VR. So just you have to click that. Okay, you want to select the cool one, night one, or monochrome, whatever. Just with the one click, yeah, the post effect is done. And yeah, right now we are covering the 4 major devices: HTC Vive, Oculus, Gear, and Daydream. And the concept is very simple, that whatever you create in the Unity, Maya, Tiltbrush, YouTube, Instagram, just import in our platform. With the one click, is compatible with the all device and distribute in our platform, which already have thousands of users from the Japan, the great India, and the US. Yeah. And one thing, we don't support the coding C#, but you can do it from the Playmaker. And yeah, this is the simple concept. And how you can import the things in our platform and how it look like. I just run the one video so that you can get more easy idea. And honestly, nothing to it's not really complicated. Service is very easy. Yeah, our major target is music, art, fashion, and photo. We are not really focusing on the gaming side. As I mentioned that we are not compatible with the C# coding. So it's more about non-gaming side which the people are created the VR contents, but they don't have any kind of area or any kind of platform where they can publish it. And we already done a lot of event and fashion, especially the fashion side over here. Some are workshop. We already conducting our workshop in 8 countries in 21 universities. Yeah. So let me give you a little bit demo of our product. Give me a second. Yeah, no audio. I'm the audio. Yeah, sorry, Indian people are also jolly, right? Jugar. Yeah. No audio, I'm the Jugar. Okay. Which one? I'm good? Oh. Okay. Let me go back. It's done? Oh, it's waiting. Okay. Here's what you have to do, if you want to upload from Unity. I'm just giving the example that first you have to download the uploader from our website and download the Unity uploader in the Unity, and yeah, then import it. And in order to import whatever from the Unity, just you have to put the email address and the API key, so that you can easily directly download the contents from Unity. Let's suppose over here I write the demo at styly.cc, and it's a web browser software, so just you have to copy the API key of your account and just paste it over here. Done. The setting is done, so you don't have to do any kind of coding or any kind of installation, long process. And let's suppose I'm right now making any kind of cube in the Unity. And okay, let me put some cube, some movement in it. Yeah, let me put my logo of the company, add some movement, and let me check something good. Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned that we also support the Playmaker, so you can also do the coding in the Playmaker. Yeah, let me just put some angle, X, Y. Okay, here. Let's suppose if you create anything moving cube in the Unity, now you want to import in our product. So how it works? Just simply go to your asset, put it over there, your cube. Do the right click, and here is an option over there, Styly, upload to the Styly. Done. So yeah, you can now this cube is uploaded in our Styly platform. So let me show our Styly platform. It's completely like a WordPress drag and drop already. 3D models are over there, sky, and some contents tree, so you can also use them. And if you want to customize something, yeah, you can customize the 3D art from the Maya, or you can pull the videos from the YouTube. So you just have to put the email address, password is completely free, web browse base, just launch the editor. Here it is launch. So no any kind of long process. We are just focusing on quick, rapidly, and easily distribute the VR contents. So this is my deck. And let's suppose I'll go to the asset and in 3D model, which I uploaded from the Unity. Here's the model. So it's like Unity, easily you can go right, left, easily move, scale. And if you don't want anything, just with the cross button, it's delete. Okay, there are already skies, or so I just put some sky and some water. There's tons of material over here, so you can also use those those here. And okay, if I talk about video, we can directly search the videos from here, which is all the videos from the YouTube, you can search over there. So let's suppose if I write Styly VR, whatever videos in the YouTube Styly VR, it will display over here. So you can import the 360 videos from the YouTube as well as in wireframe. So I prefer to put in wireframe. Yeah, I can scale it. Yeah, rotate it, and I can also scale. So it's very easy. You don't need to learn like tons of programming language in order to create VR. So its product is more focusing on non-technical people or those technical people who just want to publish their contents easily. So there are like some leaves. I don't. Yeah, leaves are much better. Like looking nice. The autumn is coming. Yeah, it's great. Sorry, Jugar. Yeah, and here some trees. It's like tons of like material, shoes, shirt. Yeah, it's like a Walmart. Okay. Here. So let's suppose like I'm a non-technical guy and I want to create something. In this video is like 3 or 2 minutes. That's it. And okay, here's your VR content, and with the one click of publish button over here, your content will be published to our platform, and which is compatible with the all device. So let's suppose if you are making something and you have like HTC Vive, your friend have an Oculus, so you can completely share your content. And this is our like deck where all the publisher launch their VR content. So you just have to sign in. So I put my email address and here. So in home screen, you can see other people content. In my screen, whatever you created, you can see just one click. You can put it the VR device in your laptop, or you can download the Google Play Styly application. So you can also launch for the Daydream. So yeah, that's it. Nothing complicated, easy, rapid, quick, and fast. Whatever you create VR content in your laptop, or just launch and distribute it, rather than waiting for the more about spending couple of months for other platform like Steam, or because yeah, it makes sense that if you are making game, you are making out of a lot of money. So yeah, it makes sense. But if you are not gaming side, you are not focusing on monetization, so you just launch it. And right now, our main industry is like university side. So a lot of students who are like creating a lot of like good VR contents in order to get marks. But after like submitting their VR content to the professors and getting the marks, they never like publish it, and they just go for the Miami, having beach and enjoy. So it's completely waste. And our main vision of company is to gather global VR creators together and share their contents, because until we don't have the content in this VR industry, it's really hard to like survive. So this is our main concept. So first of all, we should make it more easy so anyone can challenge VR and create it and distribute it. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you. Any question? I think so. It's very easy. All done, right? Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot.
All right. We're ready for our last contestant here, Justin. Over here. Oh, John Lockhart. All right. John from Penumbra. No problem. Changing up schedule. Okay, John, you gotta get set up here. All right, very good. Silicon Valley, where's your curiosity? I've been to so many places. I've done so many things. Ask me anything to fill this time. Please. Okay, is that better? Oh my God, that's great. Oh, I know. Unless I'm in Korea, they forced me to use a microphone in Korea. It must be done. But anyway, very good. Yes. Ooh, the Pimax. So far, I had a lot of really great things that I've heard. I haven't put my face in the 8K yet. So I heard that the screen is beautiful. I've put my face into 4K. The issue there was that the screen was really, really nice, and there were some weird distortion things going on. I don't know if the lenses, the software, or both. But I think they've been working that out because a lot of people have been really positive on it. And I think that's a big thing that people want. People want that clarity. Yeah, I think they definitely have, the parts to be a real competitor. So software is always a question. Content's always a question, right? What do we got? Ready?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to chime in on
know you asked Bruce, but I'm just going to butt myself in here because, so Oliver Kralos, aka Doc Ock, who is a god among VR researchers from UC Davis, actually wrote a article explaining what's going on with the distortion in the Pimax. We had the Pimax here at the last meetup. I thought it was great. There definitely is something weird going on. So he basically figured out that it's actually a Steam VR software issue for any HMD that has two screens on an angle like this. So it's just anything with a field of view over like 180 is going to have distortion until Steam VR fixes it. So it's probably very fixable, any issues that we saw in software, which is what they told us. So that's kind of verification from someone that we all trust in the community.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, the field of view on that thing and the clarity of that thing, yeah, they get that figured out. It's a changer. And it's lighter than the Vive a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, that instantly puts it in great, great territory to be a very serious competitor for sure. And a lot of people agree because their Kickstarter just, I don't know, what it hit, 1.2 million now or something? Like something ridiculous or, yeah, 1.5 now. Yeah, so, yeah, I think they're a real deal. And with that, come on up. Give them a warm round of applause, John from Penumbra.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. I was really excited to see James's presentation from Vivid because it's another healthcare application. It's really cool. And we are in healthcare VR. I'm John Lockhart with MVI Health. MVI Health is a joint venture between Penumbra, a public medical device company right over on Alameda Island, right next to the Oakland Airport, and Sixth Sense. Amir, thank you for being here tonight. From on the technology side. So I promised Carl I'd make this nice and compact, so I'll get right into it. I think everybody's been exposed to a lot of the opportunities in healthcare VR, from 360 surgical, live surgical streaming to pain management. Up here, this is actually another Alameda-based company. This right here is Project Brave Mind, a PTSD immersion therapy product. You've got physician training. This is how to do a tracheotomy. That's highly, highly accurate and realistic, almost so that you can't tell the difference between the real trachea and the simulated one. Letting children who are chronically hospital bound visit their loved ones back home, and finally doing surgical navigation and training. That's more of an augmented reality superposition of CT over the patient's body. It's being done at Stanford. Let me briefly tell you a little bit about Penumbra, just so you know where I'm coming from, and it will sort of inform what we're doing with VR. We are a public medical device company founded back in 2004, and then some history even before that, actually. The founders of Penumbra, just as a curiosity, fun fact, invented the Neuroform stent. It was the very first medical stent to go in the brain, to be the first one to ever be designed to be deployed in neurovascular anatomy. We are now, this is actually already out of date, we are now 1,800 plus employees in 6 different product families. This is sort of our vision, our mission. We were founded around neurovascular disease, especially stroke, and we have a variety of products there. We, in the last, 4 or 5 years, have expanded into peripheral vascular business. Let me give you a little quick background on stroke, because that will make more sense than when you see what we're doing in VR. Stroke, as you may know, is a blockage in the brain from a blood clot that stops the brain from getting oxygen, and that'll kill the brain tissue there, and whatever brain tissue dies, then that function is what you lose. And so when people say, what are symptoms of stroke? Well, I tell them literally it can be anything. Anything your brain does, if that part of it had a stroke, then you would stop being able to do that part. So you might lose your balance, you might lose the ability to swallow, vision, all the way through, sort of frontal lobe cognition, executive planning, emotional reactions, sense of time. The most common form of stroke that you all are maybe familiar with is paralysis, hemiparalysis, right? And that's usually, that's a dominant blood vessel on the side of the brain in the motor strip. What you're seeing here, and I'm going to play it again, is how we get up into the brain to treat a stroke. Again, that's just background. I'm going to get to VR in a second. So here's catheters we make today. These are real products, not virtual products. This is a real patient angiogram that we have permission to use. And our products kind of snake up around the blood vessels. Sometimes they're very, very tortuous. You see, that was a 360-degree loop getting up into the brain. Back of the head's over there, eyes are over here, just to orient you, head up. So we get these flexible microcatheters up into the brain. Oh, this is stuck in the middle here. It's the 5th leading cause of death. The terrible thing about stroke is that it tends to not kill you right away. There's 750,000 or more strokes in the U.S. every year, new strokes, not just prevalent strokes. And most of those people don't die. So it's the leading cause of adult disability. It's a huge opportunity to help people who are having a stroke. This just shows you how it can be, how it blocks off blood flow to the brain. And if you get that clot out, you open up the blood flow to the brain, and blood in the brain is a good thing. So once we get the access product in, there's more tortuosity to have to overcome. So we take inner catheters up to the blood clot, and we turn on a vacuum pump, and we take these clots out. And this is the hub of one of our catheters right after procedure. That's the little clot that came out, and just that little bitty clot, could cause a devastating hemiparetic stroke that would change your life forever and cause you not to be able to maybe speak, not understand speech is a different form of aphasia, or be paralyzed on one side of your body. So that's the background. Let's get into VR. So what did we do? Let me just pause for a second. So Penumbra and Sixth Sense formed this collaborative company called MVI Health. And our very first proof of concept, the thing that we worked on first to sort of see what we could all do as a team, is a collaborative 2-avatar, namely physician and physician assistant, simulation of the stroke procedure you just saw in a virtual angiographic surgical suite that's modeled on an actual suite down in South Carolina, is one of our good customers. And you go through the step-by-step of doing this process with catheters by picking them up, prepping them, assembling them together, handing them to the next person who you can see and collaborate and interact with and point at things, and you can look at the angiogram on the screen. And so you can imagine the obvious sort of training benefits, but also exposure for people who could never go in and do a surgery. And let me just sort of walk you through that. Let's see if this plays. So what you're seeing here is the 2 avatars. Now, when we've demoed this, they've normally been co-located in the same spot because we're doing a trade show or something. But these 2 people who are collaborating don't have to obviously be in the same place. One could be in India, one could be in New York. And so generally a normal surgical setup, the assistant's on the right and the surgeon's on the left from what you're seeing. This is the angiographic screen in VR. See a little floating clock right there because there's time pressure. A stroke is an emergency. So we're taking the catheters up, and you can see, again, that is an actual angiogram that we had permission to use from a patient, and we've repurposed it into VR. So you're seeing the actual screen. It's a close-up of the screen in the virtual space. Now we're looking at the patient's access points, usually down here in the femoral artery in the groin, and you're pushing catheters up. So you can grip those catheters, you can move them. Now you have to take out the inner catheter. The surgeon's learning how to do it. See the floating clock right there. You inject contrast dye at one point in the procedure to shoot the dye up into the brain and see. So I'm pointing out to the trainee what's going on and what to look for. You can hand the syringes back and forth. Sorry, it's a little jittery there. We put up, which is one slightly non-realistic part of this, we put up the sort of instructions for use, the step-by-step for training purposes on the right-hand side. That wouldn't normally be in the surgical suite, obviously. So you just saw me hand the surgeon, each piece of the catheter. They're assembling it, pushing it into the patient, and if you watch the screen, I think you're going to see it go up again. We're at 2 minutes into the surgery. So now the thrombectomy catheter is in place. There's a pump you see on the far side over there. That's a very lifelike rendition of our actual vacuum aspiration pump in real life, and this is how the procedure is really done. So the pump is turned on, and the blood starts to come back. We've got some aspiration tubing there, and normally in a typical successful procedure, you'll see the blood stop like that. And one of the big training points is we tell people just wait, because you've sort of attached on the clot, so everything's clogged and nothing's coming back. But if you wait, the vacuum is pretty powerful, and it'll generally suck that clot in, sort of extrude it into the catheter, and suck it all the way back. And then it sort of starts to fill the canister. We inject again. So we're down through the whole procedure here. Inject again, and you can see that you've opened up the vessel. The clock stops. The little floating clock is sort of our time pressure gamification. And then you give your partner a high five, of course. And in VR, since we do anything with physics, you get a nice little explosion, I think, or a little electrical effect when you do a fist bump or a high five. So that's the proof of concept. This is not launched as a product yet. We are building a team. Now we're actually well underway, actually, with 6th Sense as a partner doing the software side. We are doing the healthcare side, all the regulatory, the reimbursement, the clinical trial stuff. The nice thing about this collaboration is Penumbra, being a large public medical device company, we have all those functions already there. I mean, to run our normal business, we have intimate relationships with FDA, we have a whole reimbursement group, we have a actually fairly large clinical trial group that works on our current portfolio that can be plugged right into working on this. So 6th Sense's programmers are already working on this stuff. We're adding to that by hiring right now. So we are hiring. If you're a developer, if you know a developer and you're interested in healthcare VR applications, come see me. We first sort of publicly launched this simulation at the International Stroke Conference, which is the biggest one in North America. It was in Houston, Texas earlier this year. And right over there is our co-founder,